Hello and welcome back to Billy Ho Sports. More Saratoga racing coming up this weekend. Probably can't top the July 4th fun we had, but this weekend Saratoga race still pretty strong with a pair of high-level turf races to anchor us on Saturday. So that's what today's video is going to take a look at. The Grade 1 Diana and the Grade 2 Bowling Green. Our next split the pot draw is going to be for Haskell Stakes Day, which will be the week following that. So it's July 19th is Haskell Stakes Day. We'll have multiple split the pots for that. So remember, all your comments in these recent videos are going to go into the draw, one per entry. So it's not, but I do appreciate the multiple comments because you guys, whenever you guys have a thought, it's always nice to see that you're willing to go out on a limb a little bit, give your own opinions. So I really do appreciate that about the community. So just subscribe to the channel, leaving a comment, get your name in the draw. Always hit that like button while you're at it. Really helps me out. We're looking for the turf double for these two races. So give me your winner in each and make it a daily double for the turf. Probably not a legit bet, but it'll be fun for us. Check the description for the full details on the split the pot draw. Let's jump right into it. We're going to do the big dog first, and of course, the ladies first, the Diana Stakes. Let's look at the contenders. This is your Grade 1 Diana, the Duncan Diana Stakes, $500,000 purse on the inner turf, fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and up. We'll start with number one, and with a bullet, really, if you go back up just real quick, the prime power numbers, pretty significant difference, but not that bad over Excellent Truth. It could have been a lot worse, but 175 is the top number for prime power. That's very high number, one of the highest ones I've ever seen. So she feels pretty. I mean, obviously she does. She looks pretty too when she's running, and she likes to be up close. She likes to press. I like the way she runs because she's always on or close to the lead and making sure everything stays honest. So if you want to go fast, she's going to go. The faster you go, the worse it is for you in the outcomes. You can see how the American Oaks went a plus 18 early on, and she just took the race at second call and said, forget about it. Let's go ahead and get her done. And then you see how slow coming home. But if you don't go fast early, that means she's going to have more horsepower. So it's really, you're kind of burned either way when you deal with her. And she is going for her 5th straight graded stakes. 3 grade 1 wins in her last 4 races. And then that grade 3 Modesty was a pretty solid one at Churchill Downs on Oaks Day. So just everything look, all systems go for Sherry DeVoe, and she feels pretty. Going to be tough to beat. Now, Chisa. This is Simon Crisford, Luis Saez aboard, raced primarily over in Great Britain, with limited success, got a few wins here and there. These back-to-back, this is where he really came into his own in this year in the 5th-year-old, or her 5th-year-old season. She started the year at Maydeen in Dubai, winning a pair of Group 2 events. And then both those second place horses actually went on to win their next races, being Romantic Style and Cinderella's Dream. And then Luis Saez picks up the mount when she comes back to Keeneland, and she runs in the Jenny Wiley on a good turf, so a little bit softer footing, but still got it done. And then she ran a huge number, beating Excellent Truth and Kehoe Beach. Excellent Truth is a rival here. Mile and a 16th. So stretching out or backing up to a mile on a yielding. She just didn't seem to like the yielding, softer turf. Dynamic Pricing, who we'll talk about a little bit later, relished in it. Did very well. And then obviously Excellent Truth is going to be right there again. So this horse, I think, could offer some value coming off this kind of a poor looking effort on paper, where she just tired out down the stretch, just ran a very, very swift pace for such a compromising yielding track that was on Belmont Day, I do believe, which they did have some weather to deal with there. So Choiza is definitely in the mix for this one. Then you have a few like Lady Claypool, who are just kind of like on the lower tier. She took a lot of time before she competed in stakes races. She took her 9 starts to break the maiden. Then she struggled against Optional Claiming Company, bouncing between Santa Anita and Del Mar out west. But something right down here in this race at a mile clicked. where she got second by a nose and just missed the win, where she thought that was great. Let's try to do that again. And then she all of a sudden wins. So now once she's learned how to win, she seems to be winning. And then she jumps up to grade three, Santa Ana, and wins again, going a mile and a quarter. So backs up to a mile and an eighth for the Gamely grade one. And Be Your Best was true to the name. She was her best that day, where she just blew them all out of the water, out of the gate, and really it was just all Lady Claypool could do to gain second place. So pretty solid effort, solid horse, probably an underneath use at best, just a little bit outclassed versus these. Like Excellent Truth, this one did the majority of her racing in France, most recently anyway. I mean, she's got 13 lifetime starts, 4 wins, but does have a win coming up right around here in the Rothschild in the second place there. And then comes that was to end July, so she spends her second half of the year in the States training under Chad Brown, and then they unleash her April 12th in a mile and a 16th on some good turf in the Jenny Wiley, and she almost gets there, just outkicked. She actually had an off trip. She got the inside shut off, had to steady a little bit and then weave around. So maybe just enough trip trouble to keep her out. Came back to within a half length there, ran a 98, and then bounced back, and then went over to the Saratoga inner turf and ran second to Dynamic Pricing on that yielding turf. Excellent Truth, it doesn't matter. I'm going to have some thoughts on the firm versus soft turf in a few minutes, but if you look at this is, I do believe, is the inner turf. So this is the inner turf. Inner turf is a little bit different than the whatever they call it, the melon, the outer turf. The inner turf is obviously a little bit tighter, little more tactical speed, and the inside posts don't usually fare as well. But there's only 6 horses in this race. I would feel differently if there were more. If this was like a full 12, 13 horse field, I'd probably feel a bit different. But I don't think only having 6 horses is going to provide a ton of problems going through here. So you can see how Excellent Truth was, and she was dead with the stablemate down the stretch in that last race, but just couldn't get the late surge that Dynamic Pricing does. Now Dynamic Pricing is also Chad Brown. Dylan Davis picks up the mount for the second time, rode a brilliant race, got her in position, and then closed it out, inched away at the end to win by 3/4 of a length. Clairvich Stables, major player here. She's got a few graded stakes wins to her credit, but most of the time, most of her great success, like you can see the Edgewood, that was on May 3rd, which was Oaks Day last year. Very yielding turf, and then yielding turf. So she seems to take to the softer turf. And I actually had a quote from Chad Brown saying it's obvious she likes that cupping, or the cut in the turf is how he put it. So if it's a little softer and there's some cut in that turf, Dynamic Pricing moves up. But if it's really firm and hard, then that's maybe a little bit compromising. But it's not like he didn't win the Bogey at Aqueduct on the firm turf. So he or she can do it. So I don't knock her. I just think that she probably gives herself a better chance on a softer turf. So rounding out the field, Be Your Best, it was the Grade 2 Pegasus World Cup Filly Mare Turf winner. Now, that must have been a really, really big deal for her to win that kind of an event. I can't really call it a bounce because she had plenty of layoff time, but she just did not have her stuff that day in the Jenny Wiley, and just weakened down the stretch there, and then came back home to lick her wounds. And well, not back home, I apologize, but cut that, dipshit. So Saffie Joseph and Irad Ortiz hook up for this one. She's a good looking front running horse, and I think we'll try for the wire job here and should make things interesting with a faster pace. And so that is kind of what I come to right here. I'm going to pause it since we only have 2 races to discuss, but I think weather will matter. I saw some rain. You can't really tell with Saratoga when there's going to be heavy rain. I don't know that there's going to be enough rain to compromise the turf in any way. So, but if it were to be compromised, the weather would, or the race can go one way or the other, firm versus yielding. but She Feels Pretty is going to be hard to beat on either one. I think she wins the race with her B game. I think a C minus might even get it done, but I think a B or a B minus would be just fine here. The other possibilities would be Choiza, could be like a candidate for the firm turf side because she didn't seem to like the yielding turf in her last race, and might even offer good value if people look at that last race and see the poor finish. Excellent Truth could also sneak up there. Excellent Truth is a much deeper closer than the other ones, so could sneak up late if there's a faster pace by Be Your Best and up front, and She Feels Pretty is not scared to run either. So that would give Excellent Truth a chance to get in there. And then, of course, dynamic pricing would still, I think, have a chance either way, but a little bit better on the softer conditions. So I waffled a little bit, but not much. I'm going to stick with the one. She Feels Pretty. I know it's chalky. She's going to go off at very low odds, and it's really going to be tough to avoid the chalk in both of these races, to be honest. And actually, that was part of my question was don't just pick the two chalk horses. Give me somebody else. So the underneath the number 4, Excellent Truth, and number 2, Choiza are my two candidates to upset if it's possible. Then you have dynamic pricing, and I think Be Your Best could hang on for a slice, but I feel like Be Your Best is going to be on the lead when they hit that stretch drive, and it's going to just kind of fade to fourth or fifth. It's just kind of how I picture it in my mind of the race going. So that's all for race 11. We're going to go right to the Bowling Green, which I think was race 8. We'll confirm that when we jump to the past performances. So let's do that now. Okay, race number 8 on your card is going to be the mile and 3/8 Inner Turf Bowling Green Stakes for 4-year-olds and upwards, open company. And so we will go a mile and 3/8 around the inner turf, starting over. Just really not looking too good here for a chance to win this one. Rail Post is not good for the inner turf. Also hasn't competed well when stepping up in class. Brittany Russell took over for Mike Maker about a year ago after the 11th place finish at Monmouth. Does have some early speed and success at Gulfstream Park. So I wonder why they didn't like put this horse in more races at Gulfstream Park. A win, a second, and a third, and 3 career starts at Gulfstream Park. So I'm not really sure what they were working with there as far as Brittany goes in their operations down there. But tried Monmouth, no bueno, and then she's this, of course, in her defense, this is only the third start, so she starts at Keeneland in April, and then no good in the Elkhorn. I guess way too ambitious. I'm not really sure if they thought that was a good starting spot, but then really dial it back with this. I forgot the name of the race, but it's in Delaware Park, Cape Hepnorn or Helporn, or I don't know. My apologies, but really good early speed in the mile and a half race, and then closed was not able to close it down. Got beat by vote no, but I mean just a listed stakes at Delaware Park. No thanks. Now this one is a bit interesting for some exotic uses and a big price. Hopefully, the Todd Pletcher barn brings you Dylan Davis jockey El Rezine. This one took a few to break the maiden, but once he the 4-year-old colt got it done, it went right to the allowance company on the Saratoga inner turf. That's going this turf, this distance, everything right there, horse for course or distance specialist, whatever you want to call it, wins easily by 3. The second place horse wins its next out. Then he tries the at Aqueduct, tries to go a mile and 3/8 in the Jockey Club Derby and ran a solid third. Was right there, kind of close with Deterministic. It was a 3-horse finish across the board there, but Carson's Run got the heads up. So El Razine showed some promise, and then came in and debuted at Keeneland, going just a mile and a 16th and close to second behind Hershey. Hershey's a pretty good horse too, so that was a really solid allowance company race into X company. And now we're going to be stretching our legs out here for the next one. So it's not a big stretch out, but a mile and 3/8 is, what is that, 11 furlongs? So going from 8.5 to 11, so that is a pretty significant stretch out. And so keep an eye on that one. Tawny Port, a horse that I really, really tried to like on the turf, and did have a little bit of success. Battle tested, no doubt, with many, many, many graded two, graded three type stakes races along the way. And a lot of third place finishes were he was competing. The 6-year-old was third by a neck, third by a neck, but then just started regressing right around the Sycamore here, and just the sixth place finish. Then in March, the debut in the Pan American Grade 3, beat by Farbridge and Corruption and Padiddle, and finished sixth there. Then the Belmont Gold Cup, another seventh place, beaten uh, I eased. So there's something happened there. So maybe just didn't. I don't know if he just didn't have it or whatever. But it was off. It was in the slop. So maybe just went back, hit that slop, and just was no good. So they pulled the ripcord on that one. So you could probably draw a line through that, but you can't draw a line through the previous umpteen races that he hasn't won. He's got one career lifetime win on the turf out of 12 starts. So I'm going to pass on Tawnyport. Now, Tucson is another one. Tried the Manhattan and got killed by 25 lengths. Pretty good. I mean, maiden breaker, optional claiming, then into X allowance win. Maybe needs to dial it back a little bit and go for some lower graded stakes. I mean, this one here is still, I think, still a little bit above his skis, even though it is a drop in class technically. Does have some early speed and a sharp workout for Pletcher and Saez, so could get a good ride and could compete, but I don't know about the class. Now this one is a very interesting horse, and you probably know it pretty well. Webslinger been around a bit, made quite the splash when he won the Grade 2 American Turf back in 2023. I remember that on Derby weekend, and it was a really really great race. And then came back and won another one, the Audubon, right after that in the spring of 2023. Very competitive, has another win at Churchill Downs. So he does like Churchill Downs. He's got 3 wins at Churchill Downs. The Corley Wood was the last one, third in the Turf Classic behind Naval Power and Program Trading. So has run against a lot of the best. Hollywood Derby missed by a neck to Program Trading. Twilight Derby, Grade 2, third place finish behind Silver Knot. So run against some of the best, gets smoking. Truly Quality, Classic MT. So the Eclipse, this all weather though, and I will show it to you. Very good race to debut in 2025, I thought, for Mark Casse. Smart move. Mark Casse's very brilliant trainer as far as when it comes to the all weather at Woodbine and the turf anywhere in the U.S. Getting Jose Ortiz over Patrick Husbands and Gallardo is a boost. And this Eclipse here, I mean, Patrick Husband's very good jockey at Woodbine. He rode this horse, and it came from dead last, 7th of 7, 13 lengths off the lead to hit that stretch only down 4 and closed within 3/4 of a length on the all weather at Woodbine. So that I guess it's patina, or not patina, but tapeta, I think is the surface they use there. But to be able to close like that, to mimic the turf as good as he did on that one, I'm looking for a big forward step here. So give Web Slinger a good chance here. Harrow, not so much. Not seeing why he's ranked second in the prime power. I mean, there's no class. I mean, this is Thanksgiving Day, Independence Day, whatever, Christmas and New Year's all rolled into one. No class whatsoever. Just 100K OCs, claiming 16K, claiming to get a win, optional claiming to get a win. And then Grade 3, no good. Did win this handicap, but it was, about 100K handicap. So probably like maybe a listed stakes at wherever the hell Garrison is, which it's in Barbados. So I'm sure it would probably be on everybody's bucket list tracks to visit on vacation is to go to the Garrison, because that place looks beautiful. But anyway, I digress. Coming back here, this is the Cape Helpnern, or whatever the F it is. Third, second. Couldn't even win that race. So no thanks. I'm passing on it. Farbridge. What do you say about Farbridge? But the best of the best of the best, sir. 8 for 17 lifetime over the grass in the great career. Just 5 years old. I really thought he was older than that. Loves Saratoga. last effort in the Grade One Manhattan was a little bit out of his comfort zone. You can see he runs mile and an eighth, mile and 16th was way back in 2024. The mile and an eighth wasn't quite there. Did get the win. That's optional claiming though. You can beat those horses, but it's really tough if you're if you're a horse that's not used to racing this. He's probably not used to that distance yet. So was beaten in the Turf Classic, then the Manhattan. But you can see when he's running at 11 to 12 furlongs, he's really tough to beat. Now the Del Mar Breeders' Cup Turf, not his cup of tea. So that ended the season and then broke out in the Pan American Grade 3 and got up by a neck over Corruption, who we'll talk about in a minute. Beat Anglophile Padiddle in the Man of War at Aqueduct, big time race, then stepped up to the Manhattan. And this was out of his comfort zone because he's 11 to 12 furlong. He's a mile and a halfer. He's a horse that just gets after it at that distance. But the mile and an eighth was a little bit on the short side for him, I think, here. But was right there still on the lead and was just outrun by Deterministic and Integration. Deterministic, obviously, we've seen him now start beginning to establish himself as one of the high level top 10 older male turf horses in the division. So no shame in that game there. I figured the LSU stables, bred by Calumet Farm, English Channel, Sire, Farbridge will probably get it done in this race, but I do have a couple of options for you if you want to try to beat them. This one might be one of them. The fourth place behind the top three was pretty distant, 4 and almost 5 lengths back. I don't think Corruption can get there, but he did run within a neck in that Pan American. So that was a pretty good effort by Corruption there and versus Farbridge as well. The rest of the group is main track only. I don't think we're going to go there to where Saratoga is going to pull this off the turf. So I'm not going to really go over those. So to round things out in this one, Farbridge, obviously the one to beat. But for the value, I do think that Webslinger's got a good chance and Corruption both to upset. But I think I'll go with Webslinger. If I pick an upset, I'm going to have a late pick 5 video later in the week to pick an upset. But a trifecta key horse, Farbridge all the way. So key to 7 in a try box. That means he can finish first, second, or third. And then your underneath horses just fill in the other spots. And I'm going to go 258 underneath that. So that's going to be, I believe that was El Razine, Webslinger, and Corruption, the 2, 5, and the 8 underneath for the trifecta key box. So I really do appreciate you joining me on such a slow week. Really kind of hard tough to find interest when you've been spoiled with Kentucky Derbies and Triple Crowns and major league races. But these 2 races are really quality graded stakes races. You got a grade 2 and a grade 1 on the turf at Saratoga. What else can you do? And I really like those 2 races. I mean, you saw the horses I went over are some of the best in both of the female and the male divisions, the overall divisions. So do stay tuned for a pick 5 video to complement these 2 races later in the week. And until then, we'll see you soon.